DC here. Hi, guys and gals. Hey, hope you're well. It is Saturday. Yes, I don't often vlog on Saturdays, it's true. But my family came over on Friday and left a bit before lunch today. This week was, I've mentioned it in last week's vlog, I think, that it's Carnival week, and so there's days off. So it was a vacation week for many families. And they were off in the mountains and came back to our place on Friday. Yeah, so it was a good time. And anyway, this week we were still very busy with the people working at the house. And it's not, vloggers it's already. It wasn't that everything is finished, but we're really getting there. It was funny because I was chatting with the people at one point. And we were out having a chat as they were getting ready to leave. And the two people that were working there with us that day, well, one was Mexican, one was from Bosnia. We're originally from Canada. And you know, it's something that you notice here in Switzerland. There's a lot of an immigration over the last few years. And a lot of what we would call over here segundos. So we aren't segundos. We're like the first generation that came over. But the people that were working were like of the second generation, which were like our kids. And it was interesting because in a way, I mean, you see how where a lot of countries are really worried about multiculturalism. Over here, I mean, there's just a lot. You just kind of get into it. The most common family name over here in Switzerland actually is not a Swiss name. It's a Portuguese name. It's De Santos, you know, and so on. And the second one I think is also a Portuguese name. So it just shows. And also a lot of the immigrant families have a lot of kids. Now, does that mean that in the retired population, like ourselves, that there's loads of immigrants? Actually, there isn't. Because, for example, in the Portuguese, they're known to leave and have a home usually in Portugal. I mean, it's not such a far ways away, is it? In a way. But so they're known actually to almost all of them go back at retirement age. It's the same with many of the Italians that are here that have homes in Italy and so on. It's quite impressive. Actually, we always get asked, why are you still here? Regularly, even again this week. It was like, aren't you thinking of going back and stuff like that? But one of the things is the cost. The cost of living in Portugal, for example, is so much lower than here that it makes a big difference. So if you've had depending on your job and so on, your retirement funds, so to say, make that you are actually quite rich if you go to Portugal. I have a friend of mine who had a very good job here and went off to Portugal, and he's living like a king. But I mean, that's maybe something else. It could be for another discussion, like when is too much. But anyway, yeah. Oh, so right now, actually, I've just finished, let me see, 4 podcasts. And the last one actually was, well, 3 of them were Steve Brown, which I've talked about before, Key Life Ministries. And the last one is a podcast I really like as well. It's about Ireland. And it was going on about censorship in Ireland in the early 1910s, 20s, you know, when after the Troubles, as they call it, and not the Troubles, sorry, after the Irish, I was going to almost say revolution, if you can call it that way. There's an official word. It just slipped my mind right now. But when the state of Ireland seceded from the UK. And it was quite interesting to see that how much censorship there actually was. Maybe there was a lot of influence from churches, but actually, as they said, there was a lot of influence from politics as well. And so many movies were cut at such a point, or at least would have, the censor would say you've got to cut this, 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 and this, and that. That actually very, very many movies from the States mostly said, well, forget it. We're just not going to release it in Ireland. So they were saying that a lot of movies that people discovered later on in life. And they were saying that even in the 1970s, so that was the year that the movie The Graduate, was made, that there was a lot of censorship in that one. And it was released, but that the people now look at it and say, oh, okay, I get it. I thought I just didn't understand. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see the way it is in that respect. I was thinking of something when I was watching some videos earlier. I was going on and really totally changing subjects, but I was on YouTube earlier a bit and thinking like, oh, this person or that person, haven't seen them around for a while or so on, and go and check, if they're still like on their channel or stuff like that. And then you see that some people, are still making videos, but actually that very often that some people are, making videos, but just simply not interacting with the same people anymore. And I've noticed actually a lot of people that I've known over the years are just interacting a lot less. They've closed or, restrained their circles of interest or I would say probably put it the other way around, open other circles of interest and are much more active over there. But, sometimes you almost feel ghosted. It's true. You kind of wonder, like, where are those people? And you think, oh, but they are still around. They're just, interested with something else, but not. And I kind of think, do I do the same? Maybe I do, but yeah, I guess we all do. After a while, we get interested in other things. Our interests change over years in life, and yeah, I guess that's just part of the life's experience. I'm just looking over there. There's a lot of people. I'm not far from the duck pond over there, and there's always a lot of people that come and take some time, to watch the ducks, especially if you got some kids. But and there's always a lot of people that come. Some usually elderly ladies that come and bring bread. You're not really supposed to, feed any type of bread. Actually, I guess it's it bloats up their stomach or something. But there's always a lot of people that do it nevertheless. And some are more or less discreet, but you see them with their bags, and they don't put it when you're walking around, and then they go off. The other day, I was walking around here, and have I mentioned it? Maybe I have. There's this tailless cat, a cat that lost its tail, black cat, and the pond over here is his territory. But he knows that I walk around it quite frequently, and so he's decided now that he comes up to me, and he licks my hand a little bit, and then goes off and jumps over the fence. And sometimes he walks around the pond with me, kind of, I say, because like I'm going, and then he's like catching up with me, and then going off, and then I'm on the other side of the pond, and then I realize that he's actually there, so he is walking around with me. It's kind of amusing. But I don't know I don't know what happened to the cat. He's like I say, his tail is cut right at the base, so it's really strange to see him walking, because walking along without a tail. But yeah. Anyway, I see the time, so I've been chatting long enough. I will say, have a happy Saturday, and hope that the rest of the weekend is good for you. Okay, so that'll be DC signing off. Take care, everybody, and probably chat sometime tomorrow. Bye-bye.